All right, guys, welcome to the class today, how to put your beauty class online. I'm actually really excited about this class because it's something I feel comfortable talking about because I have put so many different types of courses online as far as, ebooks all the way to huge programs. The last time I did Beauty Educator's Blueprint was a couple years ago when I first launched it. I did a 6-week course, all pre-recorded, and I did it with a drip sequence. So if you signed up, you'd start out and you would get a new lesson every single week for 6 weeks. And I also have my online course Layer Slayer, which is the class that I travel around and I teach that one in person. That one's obviously my favorite class because I teach lashes, lash shaping and everything, but I have it recorded in 2 different ways. So I'm excited to show you both. And I'm going to actually upload both of those classes. Well, it's in one class together, one product together, which I'm going to show you what that looks like on the other side of things. But basically, you have the older version of my Layer Slayer course where it's all slideshows, and then I do a voiceover on the slideshows with animations. And so I'm going to show you how to do a class that way, which could work honestly for a very rudimentary first try. If you don't want to get crazy about getting a camera and filming things, you can just film little things and edit them together. So I'll show you what that looks like versus I did a live Zoom Layer Slayer workshop. And that was really fun too. And there's something to be said about doing classes live the way that we're doing it right now. There's pros and cons to each of them. So I'm just going to kind of go over the different types, what I like about them, what I don't like about them, so that you can kind of decide and take notes, and you can kind of write down what you're thinking for your courses. So I know, Chelsea, you were saying that you have a spray tan course. That might be one that you would have to pre-record quite a bit of because you're going to be using a camera to show something really large. Not saying that your clients are large, just kidding, but you're going to have to show a lot of space. So you're going to have to back up and do that. Whereas when you're doing something up close and very detailed, like I did with my Procreate class, or like we do with lashes or permanent cosmetics, that's something that you can video really close, honestly, just with your iPhone, and you can really get it done that way. So I'd say the first number one thing that I think holds people back from putting their courses online is they think that they need to have fancy, special, expensive equipment. And the fact of the matter is you don't. And I know, Iris, I know that you are not an Apple person, and it breaks my heart. We are speaking in Apple today, but the principles are all very much the same. And when you go to edit stuff, it's all very much the same too. Hey, girl.
Just really quickly, my husband did buy me an Apple iPad. So
I know, that's so sweet of him. Seriously, when you told me that, I even told my husband.
This whole Apple world.
Have you been liking it? Have you been using it?
I have, and it's been working really well with my business and everything as well. So I'm really loving it.
That's awesome. The one thing seriously about Apple, I'm not a tech person, and that's why I use Apple, because it just is easy, and that's why. So when people don't like it, I'm like, you're probably too smart for me. When it comes to technology, I have to use Apple because it's just easier. Sorry. But what was that one app I was gonna tell you guys about for the iPad? I might still have it on my iPad, but it's in editing. So for you can edit straight from your iPad with your videos. Let me see if I have it still. Oh my God. This is why you don't let your kids on your iPads. Oh, it's called InShot. So this is what it looks like when you log in, but let's go back out. It's like this little one here. But yeah, InShot is a really good editing app that you can use straight on your iPad. So if your videos aren't like crazy big long files that you have to put up onto your computer, you could probably just do all of your editing on InShot. And it's a lot like editing a reel or a TikTok. It's super intuitive, and it's something that you can like really kind of play around with, make cute. You can put words on the screen, you can pop pictures up, you can blah, blah, blah. So what I'm going to do is just like a mini tutorial of how I like to use that tonight. I haven't used it for a long time because I haven't done any shorter little videos like that, but I'll do that and I'll upload it into your student portal. So it's something you can go and look back on if that's something you're interested in. But anyway, okay. So I just wanted to talk about the different things that I have tried, and I want to tell you like the details behind them, the pros and the cons. So the first one is my ebook. So I created an ebook back in 2020 when we were all just like going out of our minds, bored. I thought I was going to lose my business because every one of us were like thinking that. And I was like, I need to figure out how to get online and start selling online or else, basically, period. And so I bought an ebook of somebody else's for $9 that taught me how to create an ebook, save it as a PDF, and then connect it to my Shopify store and sell it. And I mean, honestly, this was on Canva. So it was kind of, I mean, it's so crazy to say 3 years ago, it was pre the days of having templates and AI, which is absolutely insane. Like, you guys, you don't even have to write your own ebooks anymore. You can literally have AI write them for you, but I would suggest like using that appropriately. Anyway, but going back to 2020, so I wrote an ebook and it was how to grow your small business on Instagram. And basically it was just about how to post, how to edit photos, how to run an ad. This was also pre-days of Reels. So yeah, I did that ebook and I posted it up. I put it on my Shopify and I sold it for $27. And I was like, hopefully some people want to buy this and I can make a couple hundo and I can feel better about my life and I won't want to jump off a fucking bridge every morning, because that's how I felt every time I opened my eyes in the morning during the pandemic. Honestly, I'd wake up and it was like the nightmare was being awake. I just got a question here and it says, what is AI? It's artificial intelligence, and it is now everywhere. Like, so there's chat. Wait, Stephen, what is it that you've been using? Chat GP, GT? I haven't been using that one at all. I don't know if he's paying attention, but I think it's Chat GT, PG, whatever. Let me Google it. Chat PTG. Okay, so let's just say, let me just read what this is. I'm Googling what is Chat PTG. It's an artificial intelligence chatbot developed by OpenAI, and it is built on top of, okay, now it's talking about stuff I don't understand. Large family of language models, and it has been fine-tuned using both supervised and reinforced learning techniques. Okay, so a bunch of fucking nerds just wrote that description and they didn't tell us anything. But basically what it is it is a program that and it's free too. Like, anyone can go in there and say, hey, write me a blog about eyelash extensions, and do it in like a sassy tone, and talk about mega volume lashes and the weight of the lashes, whatever. And it will literally pull all the information from all over the internet and put it together and write you a blog. And then you can go in and you can change it and rewrite little pieces to make it, you know, sound like it comes from you in your language. You do have to get pretty specific with it. Carly says, I use copy.ai. Copy.ai is absolutely fabulous. It is one that you do have to pay for, but if you don't know what to say about writing your Instagram caption, for instance, you can say, you can go to the Instagram caption section and say, I don't know, Carly, give me an example, but you can say something like, talk about how eyelashes change the shape of your face if they're done properly, and do it in a way that you're speaking to a client, and it will write you out a caption, and it is absolutely like undetectable. Like you can't tell that this is a computer coming up with this shit. I don't know if you guys heard about this, and I'm probably going to get some of the details wrong, but I'd say probably about 6 months ago, there was actually like a lawsuit going on with AI, I think at Google. I think it was Google, but okay, real quick. Carly said, I just say brown lash extension caption or lash wash product caption, and it'll come up with it. It'll come up with like a whole paragraph of great things to say. I always recommend this too, because I have worked with some students in the past who were dyslexic and like really absolutely cannot spell to save their fucking lives. And I'm like, all you got to do is run it through through copy.ai, dude. Like seriously. So I love that. She's like, shut the frick up. It's crazy. So now on one of the platforms that I'm getting off track with this like AI shit, but like on one of the platforms that I'm going to be talking to you about where you can put up your classes onto, they actually have an option where you say, make me a class about XYZ, and it generates you a class, and all you have to do is put the video up on it. So you just have to create and edit the video, and it will give you the sections. It'll say, these are your modules. This is the subject for each chapter. And then it'll write out all of your notes and everything. So it's like, if you want to have a class online at this point, there's really no excuse. Like you could go and have AI write you an ebook today and sell it, and you wouldn't really have to do anything. So the copy.ai, that's the one that will write you a bunch of stuff. So it'll write you blogs, it will write you captions. I've used it for product descriptions on my website. You can use it for a bio, like especially being an educator, it's really important to have like a headshot and a bio waiting for when, if you're going to be teaching, you should have it on your website. So like your bio, but you can have copy.ai write you a bio or like an about me page. So anyway, I would just say, make sure to go through, because sometimes it can repeat itself. Like, obviously it's a fucking computer. Like robots, holy crap. So weird. Anyway, the little side story I was going to tell you is there was kind of a lawsuit recently because the AI got so good at learning, because they learn human emotions and they kind of mirror the way that humans interact and learn and connect with each other. So this one chat bot got so smart that the person who was developing her, I guess, they wanted to shut it down, and the person that was developing it was like, no, we've become such good friends, like legally you cannot shut down this chat bot because now it's sentient, meaning it has feelings. So that would be like killing a human. It is like literal Westworld shit. If you haven't seen Westworld, it's about robots that have memories and they start having feelings, and so it gets really weird. And you get into this like weird zone of like, is it okay to like turn them off? Like, are you murdering? Like, it's a good show. But anyway, I digress. So let's get back on topic. So the first thing that I worked on was my ebook. So I put it out there, like I said, for $27. I was like, okay, this is going to give me something to do. It took me a couple days to put it together. And I, at the time, have a Shopify, but I know if you have any type of other website, it's really easy to upload any type of digital product. So an ebook is a digital product, or a template is a digital product. So it's something that you can sell, and then your little store online will then email it to the person who bought it. And let's see. Okay. Continuing on. So for the ebook, I was surprised. At first, I sold it to a bunch of like my friends, my contacts. Like, I'm an educator, I have past students, and they bought it. It was a low cost product, which I always suggest having, and I'll get more into that in a second. But what it really did was it raised my confidence that I could actually create something online and sell it. And it was something really low stakes because it was an ebook. If nobody bought it, it's not like I would have felt really bad about myself. I would have just been like, okay, that didn't work, whatever. I ended up, over time, before I took it offline, I had it up for about a year, and I took it off because it got outdated really quick, because Instagram changes so quickly and they introduced reels. And I was like, okay, now none of this makes sense. I got to either update it or I got to take it down. So I took it down, but I'd say over the first like 3 months, I made about $5,000 off of just this $27 ebook. And not only that, but I got all of the email addresses from the people who bought it, which grew my email list. So now I have an email list of people who I know are interested in growing their Instagram and are interested in buying online products. So that was really cool, and it was a great experience, and I learned a lot from it. The one thing I did learn, I'd say like the cons of having an ebook, is that they get outdated really quickly. So, I mean, I took it down about a year after I put it up in 2021, but it really was outdated in about 6 months. And that's when Reels were introduced, and I hadn't even said a word about Reels in there because they didn't exist. And I was like, okay, none of this makes sense anymore. So, but ebooks are also really cool for stuff that won't be outdated. I was just talking on my live right before this, when I was putting on makeup, about how if I was a full-time service provider, I was a full-time lash artist still, I would probably create either an ebook or a mini course, and I would talk about the services that I offer, but obviously it would be free. I wouldn't charge this, but what it's going to do is it's going to show your potential clients how much you care and how much you know. And not only are they going to see this and they're going to learn about what the process is going to be like, what the different offer or, like with spray tanning, like I'm sure you have a bunch of different formulas and what they're going to look like on different skin types. So you can show that. And then I was saying for lashes, what I would do is I would show the difference between different shapes of lash sets on the same face, to show that different shapes will change the way your face looks. And then it would educate them a little bit more on the different styles too, especially if you offer like classic hybrid, volume, mega volume, etc. You can be like, these are the differences. This is what it looks like. What that's going to do is it's going to show your client that you are an expert, that you care, that you take the time, and it's going to set you apart from anybody in your area, because I know for a fact that if Sally down the road is doing lashes just like me, and maybe she has a cuter studio even, and she's just as talented as me, I'm going to be like, you know what? I need something that can set me apart. But if you have that, I really think that that's going to grow that know, like, and trust factor, which is going to have a client choose you over somebody else, honestly. But the benefit on your side is that then not only do you get the client, but you get the email, and you get their email address, and then you can continue marketing to them afterwards. And I'm always going to talk about email lists. I'm so annoying, but they really are, they're really so important. And if it's not email list, I feel like we're in a weird transition right now where the email list is very important for a certain age group, but also a text list is very important for like the younger age group. So when you're looking for clients, you probably want to have a little bit of both. But yeah, when you're going to be advertising to future students, or you have products that you want them to buy, like I do, I am trying to get emails and I'm trying to get people on my text list. So just keeping that in mind. So ebooks, the pros, we talked about the cons, you just kind of have to keep updating it. Okay, so the next thing, because the ebook really built my confidence, the next thing I did is I put my Layer Slayer workshop online. And the way that I did that was just through a basic slideshow. I honestly had no fucking idea what I was doing. And I just was like, I'm going to wing it. And the reason why I did this, I'll just give you a short little backstory, but this was in 2020 as well. So in 2019, I ran a sale on my Layer Slayer workshops for the entire year of 2020. So, and I had sold almost completely out of all of my live classes because I did a $200 discount on the deposit. And then 2020 happened and I was able to do a couple classes. I did like in the earlier part of the year, but when it became evident to me that I was going to have to start canceling classes because I couldn't travel and people were shut down, I was like, okay, now out of necessity, I have to get my class online because people were starting to ask for their deposit money back. And when you're a small business, I had already spent that deposit money on my next lash order. Like, I'm not trying to give them their deposit money back, especially because I did have myself protected. Deposit money really is non-refundable. I always say that my deposit money is non-refundable, but it is transferable. So if you want to transfer it to another class, one person, I transferred it into products. She used my products all the time. So I was able to, send her, I think the deposit with the discount was $300. I sent her a $300 gift card to my store and she was able to buy products and that was okay. But I mean, at this point, I had over 50 students at $300 a pop. And I was like, I don't really want to come up with $15,000 to pay these people back. I need to figure out how to give them value online. So what I did is I put my class online and I did it the only way I knew how. And honestly, it really worked for me for a couple of years. I didn't update it until just this year. So from 2020, the end of 2020 to the beginning of 2023. So it's been up for about 2 years. And that's one I don't actively promote, but it does continue to sell. And I've made a lot of money off of it, which is great. The number one thing though, is it saved my ass. holy cow, it saved my ass during the whole pandy situation. So I reached out to all of my students and I was like, hey, I'm going to put this class online. I'm not going to make you pay anything extra to get the class or the kit or anything. But instead of getting your deposit back, do you want to transfer the deposit to the online class and you'll get your kit in the mail? And thank the Lord, everybody was like, yeah, that's a great idea. Like nobody was like upset when I came up with that plan, which was fabulous. And I will say, even though the pandemic, like really still, I have PTSD from it. I do think that the silver lining was that it made online classes and online information so much more normalized that we can really get our classes and our workshops out there to so many more people around the world. Like so many Australian girls I shouldn't say girls, even though it is all girls, so many Australian people have bought my classes. And that is just something that I never would have thought I could do. Like I always wanted to go teach in Australia, but it would be such a loss of money that I just never thought that I could. So anyway, super exciting about that. So silver lining. And then I'm just going to show you what that looks like here. I'm going to pull up my online class. Okay, where are we at? I'm going to show you my Layer Slayer workshop on Kajabi. It's kind of the back end of it, but I'll show you what it looks like just so you can see the way that I have done it in the past. So where are we at here? Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, so now you can see what this looks like. I use Kajabi, and I'll just take a second here to explain. I use Kajabi because I have a lot of products. And when I say products, I mean courses, freebies, ebooks, etc. And I have a really big email list. It's not like as big as, you know, larger companies, but I have like 7,500 people on my email list. And so with the amount of courses that I have and that email list, it is worth it for me to use Kajabi. But I will say Kajabi is pretty expensive. I think because we're adding more products, we're about to step into the bracket where we're going to have to pay about $300 a month to keep using Kajabi. But there are other options that are so much more affordable if you're going to have 1 to 5 classes, whatever, or even more than that, but you're not going to have like this giant email list, whatever. So let me actually just show you the other platform that I suggest. It's called pretty-co. It is made by Steven, who's actually on here. He's been working on this for years. And what I love about it is that first of all, it's affordable. It is really intuitive, just like how I love Apple products because they're easy. This is easier. Kajabi's not as easy. It's a lot more complicated, but it has a lot more bells and whistles and shit that I need. But basically, so pretty-co is something that you can put your website on, and you can put all of your online courses on here as well. And there's so many templates. And what I love about it is that it is for beauty providers specifically. You can use it if you're not a beauty provider, but it's made by somebody who was actually like, he's a hairdresser for a freaking decade, over a decade, and he was a lash artist. So like, he knows what it's going to look like, what they want it to look like. There's a question in the comments. Pretty-co, you can make your online classes and an email list. Yes. So it does all the same things as Kajabi. It's just more simple, easy to use, and it's less expensive. So this is really what I fucking recommend to like all my students. If I was talking to like my mom, however, who owns a big lash brand, like a multi-million-dollar a year lash brand, I would probably tell her to go on to Kajabi because they have a crazy huge email list and it just holds a lot more information. So let's just talk about this for beauty brands, or let's do beautypreneurs. I like this. So you need a website for your beauty business. You're going to, and you can do the free trial, obviously, but first of all, you can put your website on here, and then that's just going to make everything so much easier. I wish, Stephen, are you still here? So basically, okay, this is what I was looking for. So you have 2 weeks to just build your site, see what's up. The templates are so cute and easy to use. I'll show you this in a second. But here's the thing. He's saying funnels here. That means products. So like right here, this is $137 a month. This is like the huge big daddy unlimited store products. So you can sell products. Hold on, I will answer this question in just one moment. 1,000 email subscribers, and you can send unlimited pages. Every website that you do, you have pages. So like your main page, your about me, your services pages, those are 3 pages. But anyway, so yes, you can put up all of you can have a store on here with products. You can do your beauty funnels, which is basically having a sales page that takes you to the product that you're selling or the class that you're selling. The question was, what if you already have a website? Would I have to make a new one through pretty-co? The answer is no, you don't have to, but you might want to just to simplify it because it comes with the website option anyway. And it has templates for it, but you can just connect your website. If you are in love with it and you don't want to change it, you can just connect it to either Kajabi or Pretty Dash and sell your online courses through it. So that's how mine is, because my website is actually a Shopify website. But when you click on it to go look at like Beauty Educator's Blueprint, for instance, then it pops you over to my Kajabi where I have all of that stuff listed. That's where I have my sales page talking about beauty educators. And I've just decorated it basically and designed it to look just like my website. So people don't realize that they're leaving your website. But they are. They're going to a different website that you own. So right here, online course functionality. Put each of your courses into its own funnel with its own domain name, and you can customize them however you want. Every page of your course can look completely different. Okay, I'm just going to talk about this really quick because it's so important how it says you can customize them however you want. I used to suggest Teachable to people, which that is another online platform that you can put your classes onto, and it's inexpensive as well. It's like the same price as Pretty Dash, but it's not customizable. And I am such a branding freak that if my classes are not pink and black and adorable, then I can't handle it. Like every time I buy an online class, like I take online classes all the time about, Procreate or, social media stuff or building an email list. I can tell when they're on Teachable because they can't make them look like they're still on the original website that I came from. And I want people to I want them to go into their class and it's going to look like they're still at Lash Anarchist. I don't want it to be like white and red and blue. That's not my branding. So I'll show you an example of what that looks like. So in Kajabi, so anyway, this is pretty-co. The pricing, honestly, you can get started with all of you guys with like your 5 funnels. You can put 5 classes up on here for $37 a month. And that's if you pay for the year, or it's $47 a month to month. And that is, I mean, that's just like really affordable. So that's where I would start if I was starting at the beginning. I spent thousands of dollars on Kajabi before I had actual money coming through to pay for it. And I wish I would have started with something a little bit less expensive. Okay, so here's my Layer Slayer workshop. And this is what it looks like on Kajabi on the back end. Okay, so this is what I see when I'm like adding content. See how it says add content and published. So I can make it into a draft. I can make it into a drip sequence. So the drip means that it'll come out at a later date, but it doesn't automatically. Think of it as like an auto posting, but I'm not going to get too much into these details. You guys can do with Kajabi and with Pretty Dash, you can do a free trial and you can create just a small little product and play around with all of the different features, and you can kind of decide which one you like the best. I want to show you the templates on Pretty Dash really quick because I forgot to. They're fucking adorable. Like, how cute are these? Like, you cannot, like, I know Squarespace has their like free websites, but they're cute, but they're like not as like geared towards the beauty industry as these. So anyway, I love how this one's called the Pretty Store Makeup. If you guys like Jeffree Star, it looks a lot like his little website, which is beautiful and simple, and I love it. Anyway, okay, so I can get distracted and talk all day long, y'all. I'm going to try to not do that today. Okay, so right now I have, this is my online class, okay? And this is how I have it. Here, let me go into one chapter. Oops. I want to look at this. We're going to look at this module. So this is what it looks like when people log in to Layer Slayer Workshop. And see how I've been able to put the right colors in there. And Kajabi still is not, like, it's obviously made by a man. Like, I feel like you can always tell when shit is made by a boy, except for on Pretty Dash, where it's clearly made by a gay man who's in the industry. Let's just be honest. This is made by some straight man who's not in the industry, but at least I can customize it. So this is what my Layer Slayer course looks like. And what's cool about Kajabi too is over here, and I'm pretty sure Pretty Dash does the same, but over here, it says Beauty Educators 12-month membership, learn how to be a beauty educator. So I have like almost like a little advertisement for my beauty educators for everybody who has bought into my Layer Slayer class. So these are the different sections. There's my welcome section, chapter 1, branding and marketing, chapter 2, lashing and layers, chapter 3, fan making. And I want to show you this one because I do have a video and I'll show you how easy it is to put videos in. Chapter 4, basic mapping, creative mapping. This is what we're here for. We want to know how to do the texture. And then the conclusion. Okay. And then, so that's the old school one, and I'll show you what that looks like. And then this is my live Layer Slayer that I did like I am doing right now with students live. And I uploaded that here too, because it's a little bit more updated. I did add a lot of Procreate and drawing lashes and consultation tools to my Layer Slayer 2.0. So that's what this is. And I might actually change this where it says, welcome to Layer Slayer live workshop. I'm going to say live workshop Layer Slayer 2.0. And I had Stephen go in and break these up into videos. And a lot of it is the same, but and you know what? I'm going to put this, like I said, I'm going to put it into the Beauty Educator's Blueprint so that you can go through and you can take my Layer Slayer course, but you can decide what style is going to work best for you. So let me just show you the difference here. Oh, wait, hold on. My mother is texting me. You can always count on your mom to text you when it's like not a good time. Okay. So let's go to just one section of, okay, I'm going to go to my mapping. Here's one. So let's go to this section, and this is what it's going to look like, okay? And this video that I uploaded here, the one that says soft texture with my girls in the background, all these videos, I made these in iMovie, but like I said, you can probably make them in any, or you can probably make them on your iPad in that app, InShot, but you might have an editing program. I feel, okay, I need to look this up because I just feel like an idiot, but I know that there's probably a basic video editing program on like PCs, but on Apple, it's called iMovie, and I've made all of these in iMovie, and I'll show you how, but this is what it looks like.
All right, so let's get into texture. First, I'm going to go over soft texture because this is the one that I would say is probably the easiest, but also the one that I do the most on clients. It's super pretty and it's pretty hard to fuck up, honestly. All right, so let's go over the rules on the soft texture. So this is your little worksheet that you have there that you can download and print out. But first of all, we will choose the shape that we're going to use on our client, map out the peaks. So the mapping is a little bit different. First, I map out.
I'm not going to make you watch this whole thing, but I made each one of these slides. These are all just images, slides that I made in Canva. And and these are actually, these are postcards that I put in my manual now, but I used to print them out and give my students the postcards in my in-person class, and they could take them home and we would map together like this. So let me just show you.
All right. So first of all, we're going to draw in our peaks and make sure that these are evenly spaced out. And
I need to just pause for a second and let you know that I tell them I set this up as a download, and I'll show you where that's at on the back end, but I had them download this image, print it out, and they're drawing it in along with me. So we're doing like a little project right now. And I made this animation on Procreate, which is what my last class was about.
And don't worry too much about following them unless you really are OCD, and then maybe do your peaks first and then draw them in on your map. And then I'm going to just draw in my top layer. That's going to be everything in between the peaks. And then this is going to be my middle layer. And these are going to be 3 millimeters smaller than your peaks for this map. And you actually don't necessarily have to draw in every single layer, especially if you know that you're going to do the same length on every single layer. You can just keep that in your mind and don't worry about it. But if you want.
Okay, so that's about how this class goes. Every single one of these maps, it's a similar thing, okay?
Structured texture set for her wedding, and it's probably one.
This is a slide. This is a slide.
Then for this map,
this is an animation
down from.
Sorry, I don't know if you can hear me. This is an animation that I made on Procreate. So you can see how I'm kind of going through the steps in Beauty Educator Blueprint. Each month we're adding on. So it's like each thing makes sense as you put it all together. And I guess I'll just move on to the next little pros and cons really quick, and I won't talk about this very much, but I did learn a good lesson. When I first put out Beauty Educators Blueprint, I put out a 6-week program, and I can show you what it looks like if you really want to see it. I mean, at the end, if we're all still on here or tomorrow, you're like, I want to see what that looks like. It's literally 76 videos, and it's everything that I would have done in a year. So with Beauty Educators Blueprint, I am teaching you one class at a time per month with mini classes that I'm just going to sneak in here and there. But I wanted to break it up this way so that people could buy each section that they needed, or if they want to be in the whole, Beauty Educators Blueprint program, they can. But the way that I did it before was that it was the whole program, and it was almost way too much. I mean, it wasn't almost, it was way too much information. And when you have these platforms where you can go into a student's account, you can see how many videos they've watched, if they've watched them all the way throughout, where they stopped. And that's actually like really good information to see, like, okay, where am I losing people? Where are my students not going forward? Like, is this getting boring? Is it too much information? I only had with my Beauty Educators Blueprint, I probably had about 40 students total. I ran it 3 times, and I probably only had like 10 of them, so 25% actually complete all of the videos, which just tells me it's too fucking much info. So that's why I'm doing these shorter workshops and kind of putting them together. And that's something new. And when you are trying to put your information online, you kind of have to just roll with it. Like, online courses are so new right now, and there's so many different ways to do it that you kind of have to just throw spaghetti at a wall and see what sticks. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to try different things, because you're going to like teaching one way better than the other. And you're going to notice that your students will like getting information from you in a certain way better than a different way. So I'm still on this like learning and growing journey with you guys. Like, I'm still trying to figure out the best way. So far, I love teaching live like this. I like getting questions in the chat. I like when you come back at me and you're like, hey, I got to this part, I rewatched, but like, how can I translate it into like what I'm working on? And then I can help you. I do also like selling this program online. Obviously, I don't get a lot of questions about it. A lot of people finish my Layer Slayer workshop, which tells me that it's not too overwhelming. It's straight to the point, whatever. And then I get a lot of really good comments on it. And like, because I always send out an email that's like, hey, did you like the class? Like, because I want to get reviews so I can like show people reviews. Anyway, so the one thing about Beauty Educators Blueprint, the way that I did it before in such a huge program, I would say is it was cool to make a shitload of money at once instead of having to sell it all the time. Whereas with these monthly workshops, I am having to promote and market my class and my Beauty Educators Blueprint all the time. I got to talk about it all the fucking time. And it's not that much different. I still had to talk about Beauty Educators Blueprint all the fucking time anyway, but it just wasn't my favorite way to teach. Everything was pre-recorded, and sometimes I just like to have a student there. But my last class in Beauty Educators Blueprint, the Procreate class, the live version, I was kind of sick, and I don't know, like, just it was not working out live, but I think it's because I was drawing stuff and it was tutorials. I had to go back and just pre-record every section, and that worked so much better for the Procreate class. So that's how that one ended up being. And it's just, it just depends on what type of a class you're doing, but you have to try all these different things to figure it out. Okay, so this is what it looks like for the student. Again, like we have like another animation here, blah, blah, blah. And then I have notes here. So a lot of people don't like to listen. It's interesting. And we talked about this in our first Beauty Educator Blueprint class about building a class, that people learn differently. So it's good to have a video with audio. And the one thing that I would do different here now is I would put captions, because a lot of people like to read instead of listen. I'm a listener. I can listen to podcasts and people talking all day long. I actually do that. But now, so I put the information down here in my notes, so that people that didn't want to listen, whatever, they could read the notes, they could watch the videos, and they could get the gist. But it is good to include all different types of teaching styles when you are doing online classes as well. You almost have to work a little bit harder at it because you're not in person. And a lot of people need that hands-on to learn something, which is what brings me to downloads. And this is where I have the downloads. We'll download this and I'll show you. So if I click on that, if I'm a student, here I have the little image, so that this is something they can print out and they can take with them to their studio. And when they're trying this map out, they have the map. And then the other thing that I have is the worksheet. So they can click on this, they can download it. And this is the one I have them print out. And while I am doing the animation, they're drawing in the map with me. So I'm trying to give them a hands-on experience as well. Okay, let's go back to that. Hold on.
They'll fix it for you. They have to.
Let's see here. Can I create my courses ebooks on Pretty Dash, or is it just where I can post them for sale? That's a really good question. Thank you for asking. Sometimes I get so ahead of myself, I forget the basics. So you create your courses and your ebooks before, and then you upload them to Pretty Dash, or you upload them to Kajabi or Teachable. It's a platform. So it's kind of like Square. I think they have products now where you can sell your products, or it's like Shopify is what I have, where I sell my physical products, like my lash products, but it isn't where you create them. So my class, the first class that we had in Beauty Educators Blueprint, was all about creating the class, but I am going to talk to you about how to translate them, because you have the class created. I'm going to talk to you about putting them online, creating them online. So in an ebook, I would just create that right on Canva for these slides. And I am going to pop over right after I show you this other example. I'm going to pop over to Canva and I'm going to show you how I have created these classes. And then you edit it into a video and upload the video. Okay, so this is how my class has been for a couple years. And then I update it. I'm going to go back to Layer Slayer Workshop. I updated it, and I want to show you this last section really quick. So fan making.
All right, it's time to talk about fanning. One of my favorite parts of class. Normally we take a little bit of time here and we practice making fans, and I go around the room and everybody just practices and I show them in person. But since this is online, I'm just going to show you videos of how I fan each type of fan. So I do a different type of fan when it comes to rush and volume And then I do, when it comes to mega volume, or I also do for my peaks, I do an unfan.
So what I want to say right here is this has actually been really nice to have even during my in-person classes. So instead of having a big break in the middle of class where I sit and I make fans and everyone gathers around me, because I have usually classes full of 10 students around me and I'm making the fans, but not everyone can see. I play this on the big screen first. So hopefully it helps them be able to see what I'm going to do in person. So then I do it in person. So that way they've seen it twice.
Is what I call it, so that they're nice and pointy. There's also a very specific way that I like to use pre-made fans. And so I'm going to show you how I do that as well. So first off, I'm going to talk about how I like to fan on the strip. And that's what I do with Russian volume. Okay, so this is anything over a 0.05. I will do it this way. And what I do is I take however many I'm going to, I stick it back on the sticky part of the strip, and I kind of squish it on there pretty hard so it stays. And then I just take the tip of my tweezer and I like push it down, fan it out, and that's what I do. So definitely watch some other videos on this because me, and I do it in between my thumbs and my fingertips. Okay. The unfan. And this is what I use for these fuckers. Are like perfect. Look at them. They look like my.
This is a picture, and that's why it's wide. And because I didn't know what I was doing back then, I used my phone, which was fine. Like our cameras on our phone literally film in 4K. They are amazing cameras. Most of the cameras that I've actually used to try and film professionally don't even look as good as using my cell phone. So I've stopped using my fucking expensive ass cameras that I've bought to make online classes and just use my phone now. But see here, I filmed it in like portrait style. The only thing that I would do and tell you now is obviously turn it and film it horizontally like you would for a YouTube video.
And with the unfan,
so
dip it slightly into the glue, turn it
again, just the angle. I wish I would have turned it on its side. I just didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Like there was nobody teaching us how to create online classes in 2020.
Towards you and pinch the tops, the tips of the lashes where there's no.
The other thing is I just had a friend doing it for me, filming it for me. Now I use a little tripod and I have it on my Amazon storefront. I'm actually using it right now for the light. This guy, here, I'm going to stop the share for just a second. So this is my little tripod and he gets really tall. Love this guy. Like, look at how cool this thing is. And he has his light. But this is my favorite part, is there's this other little part here that actually comes out and films over. So this is how I recorded everything with Procreate. And this is how I would do it now. So when I record me doing lashes or showing a technique of some kind, now I'm going to be using this, but you just set it on a table next to you and the phone sits here. There's a little attachment that I have. I'll just show you. Like I said, this is on my Amazon storefront. The link is in my bio on Instagram for all my Amazon finds. You can just find it on Amazon, but if you buy it through my storefront, I make money. So that's cool. And also, you should make your own Amazon storefront because I've been making like $4 a day. Okay, so this is how I do it now. And honestly, I will just put it high enough that it's not going to, I mean, with my hat, whatever, it's not going to obstruct my vision looking down at what I'm doing. I'm assuming we're doing PMU, lashes, brows, whatever right now. And it's going to film, but obviously we're going to do horizontal because I'm not fucking that up again. And I am going to be able to see what I'm doing, and I'm going to make sure that the angle is on correct, but that's how I'm going to film it now. There are other tripods that you can use, whatever, but this one's $70, and I just feel like for the lighting on it, which I'm going to, and it also has cool lighting, warm lighting, and neutral lighting. I fucking love it. It's so good. I use it for all of my lives, which I totally suggest when you are trying to market your course, which we'll get into a little bit more tomorrow. But I am going to make a mini course about marketing your course. Anyway, for beauty educators, we'll talk about that more. And also for you beauty educators, I feel like there's only 3 of you in here right now. I think I'm going to add Voxer to Beauty Educators Blueprint. If you're interested, you can download it, but it's just a free app. And then you can message me like during certain times. Like you can already message me during DMs, but my DMs are so fucked up. But you can send me voice notes, videos, photos, texts, whatever. And so you can just be like, hey, I'm working on this and this isn't working. Can you help me? And it'll notify me immediately so that we can have that direct communication. That is something that I've decided I'm going to add to beauty educators, because also I'm really bad at Facebook. I know we have our group and it's good, but like sometimes it's hard. Okay. So in the, chat, we have, so you used iMovie to put all of these clips into a video. Yes. And I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like in just a second. Tiffany says, my favorite thing ever. It's so high tech and sturdy. It really is so sturdy. Like, I'm so happy I accidentally found this thing. Like, I've ordered so many tripods and phone holders, and I swear to God, they just suck ass. Like, I don't even know how else to say it. So this one was really surprising in the way that it is just, I don't know, I just love it. I recommend it to everybody. And I literally make like 70 cents when you buy it through my storefront. So it's not like I get like a huge cut and I'm like, I just really love selling people things that I really love. Okay, so I'm going to screen share again. I'm going to show you how I did my Layer Slayer live, what that looks like. And then we're going to take a break because I have to pee literally every hour and a half. And we'll take like a little 5-minute or come back, and then I'll show you how we edit. Okay, so sharing my screen again. Sometimes you got to sing things in order to, get the job done. Okay, so now we're back to my online class. So now I'm going to go back to Layer Slayer Workshop. This is Layer Slayer 2.0. I recorded it differently this time, and I recorded it how I am recording now, but with slides and me screen sharing. So kind of like I am just right now. So here's how it goes. And this is what it looks like on the inside. Not a lot of notes on this one, but like I said, Kajabi updates all the time, and Pretty Dash also updates all the time. I need to ask Steven. I'll ask him tonight. Let me write a note. If Pretty Dash provides closed captioning, because it's like on your reels, like you want to put your captions on there because a lot of people listen without sound. And they want to read it. And even if they do have it with sound, a lot of people need to read something to learn it and let it sink in. So captions. I know that you can do it on Kajabi. I think it's just like an extra charge now. I'm not totally sure. So I'm going to look into that and I will have the answer for you guys tomorrow. Okay, so this is what my class looks like. Welcome to Layer Slayer live stream. I'm super excited. This is my first time teaching the class this way. I've taught Layer Slayer all over the United States. And so that's just me talking. So boring, whatever. Oh, that's a good question. She says, how long of access do you provide for your e-courses? So it depends on what it is. It's interesting like teaching this stuff because I feel like the answers are really kind of unknown and they change all the time. So for Layer Slayer, I used to give access for a year. And I don't know why. I really don't know why. I just thought that you had to like take access away, but I changed it. So now if you buy Layer Slayer for me, you get access forever. And the reason why I decided to do it forever is because if you buy Layer Slayer from me, it's really it's gonna be outdated eventually. Like it took a couple years and I needed to update it, right? So it really depends. And if you have something, I'm trying to think of something that you would want to give limited access to. So for Beauty Educator's Blueprint, actually, this is a great example. For when I first did Beauty Educator's Blueprint, it was just under $3,000 and it was a 6-month program. And I provided a lot of coaching in it, which I soon realized I don't love being a coach, and especially not for 26 people at a time. It was the hardest 6 months of my life. I made a bunch of money, but I worked my fucking ass off for it. So all of those people that are out there being coaches, like more power to you. Awesome. Good for you. It's not my forte. But I took access away at the 6-month mark because it was more of a coaching program, but I did offer an option for people to stay in the class for a monthly membership fee. And I think I made it really, really low, like $150 to stay in it so that they could still have access to all of those videos. So if they had a busy 6 months and they weren't able to do any of like the coaching or keep up with anything that we were doing, we also twice a month did like live Q&As where we'd all meet together and we'd talk about like where you were at, and Q&As basically like we've done, but ours are a little bit more laid back. So if they wanted to stay in and still have access to all those videos, they could stay in and still pay that monthly fee. And I think that's what I'm going to do with this Beauty Educator Blueprint as well. So like you're like, some of you are signed up for 6 months and some of you are signed up for 12 months. After your 6 months, if you want to continue on and go for the 12-month, I'm going to give you an option to obviously stay in and keep those classes. I actually haven't totally figured that out because everybody who's bought the class just alone. So like any of you have just bought the class, but you're not in Beauty Educator Blueprint, you'll have the class forever. So I'm thinking if you're in the 6-month program, you will have all of the classes that you got while you were in the Beauty Educator Blueprint. You'll still have access to all the classes during that 6 months forever, but I'm going to give you an option to stay in if you'd like, and continue getting the next classes. So I hope that makes sense. It really just depends. I've taken online courses where I only have them for 3 months of access. I've had them where you have 1 year access, but actually this is a really good time to tell you guys, I love Amy Porterfield. If you don't know who that is, she has a podcast called Online Marketing Made Simple. And she is kind of the one that inspired me to put my course online. I bought her, she had like a $2,000 class. I bought it in like 2018. I didn't use it until 2020. And that is a really good example of why you should give access for a longer time, especially if it's one course. But that doesn't mean she didn't update her class and continue selling it the next few years. So anyway, you should listen to her podcast. She's great. The only thing that I didn't love about her class that I took is it basically told you to make a course online and how to like kind of how to use Kajabi, but they were like, if you go into Kajabi, they have like all of these demos on how to do XYZ. It was less of how to make the class, and it was more of how to market the class and get people to buy your class, which I was like, oh, fuck. And I don't know. I'm not like a typical, I don't market typically. Like I don't have like a strategy that I stick with all the time. Like I'm always trying different things. So anyway, whatever, it got me to get my class online, and that's all that matters. Okay. So I'm going to go back to this here. This is me teaching my class online, and this is another way of doing it. Okay. So as you can see, my students are over here, which is kind of cute, but I love getting the interaction. Like I said, teaching like this is fun for me. Basically, what I've learned over time, the secret of getting, a good lash set is muscle memory. Using smaller diameters for me, just getting your name out there, because even before I was really teaching a lot, now teaching is kind of my full-time career, but before, when lashing was my full-time career. Okay, so I'm going to make this smaller so you can see kind of the difference here. There's mapping in layers, lashing in layers. Here's another one that I wanted to show you because there is a video. And last but not least, we have lashing in layers. How to lash in layers. And sharing's been going, but. So basically, I'm just lashing that top layer. And in this set specifically, I'm showing you a wet lash look, and I'm using Okay, so this is just another option of recording. And then there's another option of recording, and that's directly through Canva. So let's take a break. And then when we get back, we'll explore Canva a little bit, and I'll show you how I made the slides, put them into iMovie, did the voiceover, and did the first one, and then how I created the second one and how to record on Canva and actually make the product that you're going to upload to sell. Sound good, guys? Okay, it is 12:30 right now. Let us reconvene. I'm actually going to give me 10 minutes because I have to eat something or else I'm going to die. Very exciting. Yes. Okay, so 12:40 or whatever time zone you are, come back at the 40-minute mark, and that is where we will we'll hop into Canva and we'll get into some of the fun stuff. Okay, so now that we took a cute little break, I am going to look at my notes and make sure I'm staying on track because sometimes I don't do that. Okay, so now we're just at editing basics. So now I want to get into, like I said, I use Canva for everything. Like if you can afford to pay for the Canva Pro, I believe it is $10 a month. It might be, I think I'm locked in at like a $7 a month, but it's because I'm like grandfathered, like it forever ago it was $7, but I think it's $10 a month. It's 1,000 billion times worth it, and I will show you why. We've talked about this in previous classes before in Beauty Educators. So if this is a little bit of, I don't know, a recap, it's kind of like basics we're going to go over again. So if you already know a bunch of this shit, sorry in advance. But it's always good to just kind of go over stuff, right? How do I make this chat? Oh, there we go. Like, how do I make this chat go away? Okay. But again, if you need anything, have any questions, definitely like put it in the chat. And I am going to share my screen here. My Canva. I'm just going to show you, you get to see what it looks like in Lash Anarchist Canva, which is, we got a lot of stuff going on in here. So let's go down to our Layer Slayer 2.0. This is where I built all of those slides that you saw. And this is my older one. So this is the one that I did with the voiceover. So I created all of these slides. And this is actually something I should talk about that's pretty important in my opinion, is see how these slides here, they start with just the photo and then it's one muscle memory, small diameters, transitions, layering, branding, marketing. The reason why I do it that way, and what I'll do is I'll start with this and then I'll multiply it and then I'll delete one and multiply it and delete the next one, multiply it and delete the next one. But the reason why I do that is because when you go to present, you want it to look like it's popping up on the screen, right? When you go to the next slide, that it's the same slide, that these things are popping up. And these are just little things I've learned from making mistake after mistake. The one thing that I will say that I have been doing lately, when you get to this point, or if you are somebody who is like, okay, I am just not a designer, I do not want to be making my own slides, fuck that. I have a lot of photo shoots. So like these background photos of these girls, like these are my original photos from photo shoots that I've done in the past. And I like using my own photo shoots, but it's something that I've really invested in for my company. I know not everybody has that, but you can use stock photos. So let's go back here. And I'm just going to show you this. This is the updated Layer Slayer and what I use now. So cute, blah, blah, blah. Still a lot of my own photos here. But what you can use, let me just slide all the way. Oh, this is another part of the 2.0. This is a Procreate / Canva situation. And I talk about this in the Slay the consultation, in the Procreate class. That's all in Beauty Educator as well, how I created this, but like how you can see that there's two different stylings, right? So you want to let your clients know. And then this is like, I really like showing this example, especially when I'm talking to students about styling, because I see a lot of these droopy lashes when really this is more of a correct styling. So we talk about mapping that way. And I'm not going to get into lash theory right now. I'm just talking about how I create, my videos. So I'm going to take all of these slides that I've made. Some of them have videos put right into them. That's something you can do in Canva. You just upload the video. These are all videos that I've made. These are some GIFs. GIFs are considered videos. And then you just put them right into the slide. So what you're going to do, I'm just going to add a page here just to show you. But basically, like, That's how you're adding the video. And this is a video that I took with my phone, but when I edited it, I edited this on my phone and cropped it down into a square and brought it over. I don't do a lot of fancy shit. I'm not going to tell you to buy a bunch of cameras and lighting. Actually, in fact, I need to put these on my Amazon storefront. I found these really cool lights that with my last salon, I wanted to have a place where I could host other lash educators, and I needed to buy 12 lights for 12 beds so that they could have models. And I seriously considered buying 12 of those Cosmo glow lights because they're so like pretty. And it was going to cost me like, how much are those things? Like $300 times 12. It was going to cost me like $4,000. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to use them that much. So fuck that. Let's see what we got on Amazon. And I found these lights that are not for lashing. They're not for, they say photography lights, but it comes with 2 of them and they were $80. So I found $40 lights that literally are 75% as cool as a glam core. I'll just say that for $40. All right, hold on. I'm just going to see what Steven says really quick to see if that student can get in. So she, okay. Cool. Anyway, let's look at, I have something in the chat. I currently have my course created on PowerPoint. Is it transferable to Canva or do I recreate it all on Canva? That's a really good question that I feel like I should know the answer to, but since I don't, Mama's going to Google it. And I know that you can. I know that there's a way to, what have I heard? To like batch upload to Canva.
Yeah, you just upload it
Thank you.
then, yeah, you just upload it and then you use your uploads and it transfers to PowerPoint in Canva.
Okay, so you just go to uploads and then images and you upload the PDF or the PowerPoint images.
I think it's under projects. Like you can upload a project and then.
Okay.
That's how I did it because I had a PDF and then I just uploaded my PDF to my Canva.
That makes sense. Okay, so like if I'm going to upload, I'm just going to say upload files and then let's find a PDF. You know, there's got to be one on this freaking thing. So this is a whole, oh man, that's going to take a minute. But you're right, it's going into projects. Yeah, you're totally right. This is uploading this PowerPoint presentation. Thank you. See, this is why we like to have live students, because sometimes I don't have the answers to everything. Harley's my little like assistant over here. So to upload the saved PowerPoint into projects on Canva. So yeah, so let's see what this looks like once it's up here. That's so cool that you already have it created because that's going to make it so much easier. And also, just so you know, once I pull up iMovie here, this is, oh wait, you probably can't see this because I'm only sharing Safari. Hold on, I'm gonna go home. Okay, I don't want to fuck this up. So let me stop my share really quick while this is uploading. And I'm going to, she got in. Yay, welcome to class. Okay, cool. I was like, Steven, help this gal. But it was because you signed up a little bit afterwards. Okay, so I am going to share my screen. I'm just going to share my whole screen here so that I can pop back and forth. So when I uploaded this project, it uploaded this, yeah. Things are a little bit wonky, so you might have to play around with it like this, how it says learning styles like this. This looks a little bit weirder than it did before, so you might have to just go through and make sure that everything uploaded well. But this is actually a presentation that I gave for, oh yeah, see how like this photo, you're just gonna have to go through and just edit the little mistakes because it's gonna kind of mess with it a little bit going from PDF over into Canva, but at least it's all there and you don't have to redo everything. So that's awesome to know. That's great. So, yeah, this is a presentation that I gave for a little seminar recently. And I was going to say before I got kind of distracted is that, where is this going? There's my picture. See, so you're going to have to play around with like the layers and stuff. So, fuck, I keep getting distracted. What was I talking about, you guys? To take a second. My brain is all over the place. Oh, if you're the type of person that is just like, okay, I am not a designer, I don't love creating slides, or you don't have time to do it and you want to get a class out there. So this is a really great example. Actually, this slideshow that was created, I actually paid somebody to create this for me. If you know Wednesday the Lasher, I don't know how much work she's taking on personally herself right now, but I was like, hey, you love making slideshows. Will you make me a slideshow for this seminar that's coming up? I have no fucking time and I don't care and I don't want to do it. And she was like, absolutely, pay me $200 and I will do it. And I was like, okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to erase these, but that's how we do it. So that's great to know. You just upload the whole thing and it uploaded it into a project. I want to see if it's in uploads as well. Okay, so it's not. It will be under projects. So that's great. Designs. Love that. Thanks, Carly. So, okay, so what I'm going to do now is once I have all of my slides, and I actually am going to choose something that is way less slides than that. Let's just do, we have, okay, this will work. This is a different slideshow that I have created, and this was for our first, this was for our first class. So I'm just going to click on share and I'm going to download, these as, I'm going to download these as a PNG just because I want them to be pretty, but I'm really only going to download like 3 of them so that so I can show you how I like to edit them in iMovie. So download. And that's BABC, that's Build a Beauty Course, day 2 in our Beauty Educator Blueprint. Okay, so that is popped up here. I'm just going to open this guy up so that I have it. Close this out so my computer doesn't totally fucking crash because I have so much shit open. Because, you know, love doing that. Hold on. Okay, so now I'm going to open up iMovie, and this is where I'm telling you, you can use iMovie, you can use Final Cut Pro, you can use whatever editor you're used to using. And then you can also use the InShot on your iPad. Like I said, if it's not, so this specifically, this video that I did, if you've done the Procreate, if you've gone through all of those videos that here, I'm going to make this small, that I recorded, and I pre-recorded them, and I should say I re-recorded them and uploaded them just because I wanted them to be something that you as beauty educators could go through and rewind and go at your own pace. And also I could give you a lot more information. So these videos are actually really long and they're really big files. So this type specifically, see how it's 32 minutes? Like it's a big ass file. That is something I would not do in InShot. That's something you're going to have to do on the computer on like iMovie or Final Cut Pro or whatever. But because they are big files. So I'm going to go back to projects. This is build a lash fan. Just going to save this here. That was really fun, by the way. I have never had so much fucking fun creating a lash course than I did my Procreate course. I truly felt like Bob Ross, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed that class because it was so much work and it made me want to die. But at the same time, I was like, this is what it feels like to actually put out work that your soul like loves. Like it was so fulfilling. I just absolutely enjoyed creating that class. Okay, so I'm going to create a movie and then I'm going to import my media here. I have it already. So I'm going to take these three and I'm going to pull them down and just put them into iMovie. And this, like I said, it's going to be a little different on every different editing program that you use, but it is all going to be very similar structures. So right after I show you this, I'm going to actually show you the one that Steven recorded for us on Final Cut Pro, which is just, it's a program that he likes to use because it has a little bit more bells and whistles on it. iMovie is just really basic. But this is what I created my very first Layer Slayer workshop on. And it was, I mean, it's made me over $100,000 in a few years. So I've had it up since the end of 2020. So it's been 2 years and a few months. And that is, I mean, obviously that's something I'm not promising that. I hate it when people are like, I'll make you a 6-figure earner. I had to work really fucking hard to get my reputation to a point that people would actually buy my online class. But I am telling you, I am just a normal ass bitch. I am just a lash artist just like you. So if I was able to do that, you'll be able to do that. It might take some time. It took me, before people started really buying my classes, I'm telling you, it took about 6 years of actually lashing and 2 years of seriously promoting the shit out of myself, shamelessly promoting myself. And just getting used to talking to people too. I think that's a really big one for people. And that's why I like to go live now. I love my podcasting, which by the way, I have like dropped little hints before. I don't know if anybody cares, but me and Wednesday are starting a podcast. We've been working on it. So when it comes out, it's going to come out April 20th. We did not mean to have it be on 420, but it's just funny because neither of us even smoke weed. But it's going to have like 5 or 6 episodes already updated, like pre-recorded, so you can totally binge, but it's going to be funny. You guys are going to like it if you like podcasts. So, okay. So I have my slides in here, and what I would do is just line up all my slides here. And this was the part that I had kind of the hardest time with, was just making them as long as I needed them. So what I would do is I'd kind of just make my slide really long here. Okay. And we're going to start at the front. And basically, okay. Let me just show you this example really quick on my phone. Okay, so I'm going to record myself on my stand. And I'm going to do it horizontally this time. Struggle bus. And I'm going to stop my share for just a sec so you can see what I'm doing. Oh God, don't look. I am in my shitty, like dirty guest room. Okay. So I have what's going on. Let me see if we can get a better angle. There we go. So I'm going to be like, my cat is just hanging out with us. So I'm going to be like, hey there, welcome to my program. Thanks for blah, blah, blah. And let's get started. Okay, so that's a little video that I just took in real time. I'm going to put this back over here because I want the light. And I'm going to airdrop this to myself. Wait, I'm going to screen share again. Share screen. Desktop, share. And I'm going to I'm airdropping this to myself. I'm hoping this works while I have all this Zoom and stuff going on. Sometimes you never know. Come on. We can do it. All right, we got it. Come on. I might not be able to do it this way. Hold on. Let me see if I can send it to myself through a text. I just want to see you, or I want to show you how I would do this like in real time. Just so you know. My phone won't airdrop right now, so I'm just sending this to you so that I can take it from the text and put it into iMovie. So just ignore this. Thank you. Bye. I just sent it to Steven so I can pull it off of the text. And I'm going to plop it into iMovie. And hopefully that's going to work. Okay, I think that's going to work. So yes, I'm importing my Canva slides that I saved on my computer into whatever editor that I'm going to use. Right now I'm using iMovie just because it's simple and it's easy. So I'm going to share my screen again. So what I did is I just pulled this video and I plopped it from the text message. I plopped it just right in here. And I want it to go. Why is it? Why? I wonder if I need to like move it. You know what? Hold on. Oh, little fucker. Okay. Let's try this one more time. There we go. Okay. Don't read my text, guys. Just kidding. There's nothing. Okay, so now I have this video and I'm going to import those other slides again. Where did I have those? My recents. Okay, whatever. Okay, here we go. So I'm taking these and I'm just plopping them in. Perfect. Okay, thank God this is working. Okay. So this is what I just recorded, and I recorded it horizontally so it looks correct now. But like literally, you can set this up in a way that's so cute and you don't see your dirty ass like office / guest room in the background. Hey there, welcome to my program. Thanks for blah, blah, blah. And let's get started. Okay, so let's say that I fucked up and I was like, hey there, welcome to my program. And I'm going to click and I'm going to edit. Is that where it's at? This is interesting. Here, we want to split the clip because on my computer, I actually have the button because I have a touch screen on my computer. So it's a lot easier with like the MacBook Pro, but I'm going to split the clip. And then I'm going to go to where it's for blah, blah, blah. And then I'm going to split it again. So I would go up and modify, and then I would split or whatever. But I'm going to delete that little piece. Control click, delete, and now it's going to look like this. Welcome to my program, and let's get started. So that's how you're going to take out things that you don't like. Take out ums. I do a lot of ums. I do a lot of so's. So do a lot of people. So does everybody, honestly. I worked with a public speaking coach and I've calmed down, especially on saying like. I've calmed down on the ums. Another thing that we'll do when we're publicly speaking, and you will feel like you're publicly speaking when you're pre-recording things because you get nervous. It's like, you know, you're being recorded. But one of the main things is that people talk too fast. So just try to remind yourself to slow down and you'll be able to articulate things a little bit better. Okay, so now we're going to go here and I'm going to drag this out quite a bit. And I'm just going to show you how to voice over. And these are going to be the slides that you've already created. So now I have this little microphone here. And actually, I'm going to put it like right there. Okay, so I am going to show you what it looks like to voice record. And if you fuck it up, don't worry, you just erase it and start over. Oh my God, it took me forever to record my first my first online layer because it's all voiceover. And then my kid was like 3 years old and I was doing this while we were in quarantine. Like we were all at home. I tried to get my husband to take him on a walk or whatever. And I had to do it late at night and then I'd forget things and whatever. And then it depends on what type of a person you are too, because there are apps that are like teleprompter apps, and those might actually be helpful for you. If you need something scripted out, I would recommend that. For me, if I try to read something, I've tried teleprompters. They always just, I can't follow them. They mess me up. It ruins my train of thought. So I can't use teleprompters. But anyway, so I'm going to show you what I would do. I'm going to record a voiceover here. So first on the agenda, we're going to be talking about creating visuals. So that's going to be your slideshows and your videos. Then we're going to talk about building an affordable kit, how to get wholesale pricing and reach out to other companies about that. Okay, so see, I ran out of space. I'm going to stop. I'm going to drag this longer because obviously I need a lot more time to talk here. And this would be like if I was pre-recording, and this is another reason it could be a pro or it could be a con based on your personality. My personality likes to talk about things in real time like we are right now. And I like to teach that way. But if you're uncomfortable doing that, this is a really great option to put out your classes in a way that's more comfortable for you. Okay, so I'm going to go back to here. And this is where I stopped. And it's fine. Don't worry about this too much because you can edit it. Okay. Next, we're going to be talking about pricing and policies, when to give a deposit back, when to not give a deposit back. And then we're going to talk about sales page must-haves, things you must have on your sales page to get the point across about what's in your class and what the student can expect from you. Okay, so that's a voiceover. So it's going to look like this now. And I'm just going to make this I'm going to make this full screen so that you can. Hey there, welcome to my program and let's get started. So first on the agenda, we're going to be talking about creating visuals. So that's going to be your slideshows and your videos. Then we're going to talk about building an affordable kit, how to get wholesale pricing and reach out to other companies about that. Next, we're going to be talking about pricing and policies, when to give a deposit back, when to not give a deposit back. And then we're going to talk about sales page must-haves, things you must have on your sales page to get the point across about what's in your class and what the student can expect from you. All right, so that's where we're at so far, and that's literally how you're going to create this. And if you want to plop another video in there, or if you have a slide on Canva that has a video, it'll just play. So, you know, that's how you do it. It's super simple. I shouldn't say it's super simple because, well, it's simple, but it's not easy. Once you get used to it, though, you'll become a pro. It'll be something you can do really quickly. I've done a lot of like freebies that are just voiceovers like that, and they don't take me long at all to put out. But freebies are great because they're really great for marketing and getting people that are interested in your paid courses, et cetera, et cetera. That's stuff we're going to talk about more tomorrow. I just wanted to talk about actually getting this all out today. So I'm not actually, here, I'm going to screen share again, my desktop. So I'm not actually going to save these slides because I want this to be just a really short little clip that I can all right, hold on. Let me get back into Kajabi so I can kind of show you what it looks like on the back end. And I'm going to upload this into Beauty Educator's Blueprint so that you can see. Hold, please. So we're going to go to products. Okay, so sharing the screen again. So now we're in the back end of Beauty Educator's Blueprint here. We have getting started. We have slay the console, build a beauty class using Procreate. Using Procreate ended up getting a lot bigger than I thought that it would be. But like I said, I loved making it and I couldn't stop making sections. So what this looks like on the other end, we'll just show you what it looks like. You guys are used to seeing this, the beauty educators in the class. This is what it looks like. So we've got getting started. Here's how to get into the fancy Facebook group hangout. part 1 and part 2 of Slay the Consult, which is that mini course that I sold for $47, made myself a quick grand and got emails. That's the best part. And like for $47, like I don't feel like I'm taking advantage of anybody giving them like this really great little class, right? And sometimes that's the best way to give yourself the confidence to create a larger class, is to build these mini courses first. And that's what I would highly suggest. Again, I'm going to talk about that, like strategies and things like that tomorrow. We'll get more into marketing and ways to get people into buying your larger courses, or into trusting you into buying larger courses. Let's see what Chelsea's asking, when are you offering the next Procreate course? So that course is actually on sale still. So if you join Beauty Educators, you'll get all of these classes. They're all on here, and every class I create, I put right into Beauty Educators. I'm going to upload Layer Slayer in here actually tonight so that you can go through and look at those. But the Procreate class is in there. So you can do that, or you can buy it on its own. Let me just show you really quick. If you go to my website, you go to education, you go to online workshops. Okay, cool. Little pop-up, rude. Here, I'm gonna, this little, sometimes my menu on this, we're working on my fucking, this is so annoying right now. Okay, so it's called Original Art and Animation Creation, and I need to change the fucking name, but this is the page, or you can get to it. So this actually is a good example. I'm glad that you asked that. So we were just on my website. This is my website on Shopify. So this is lashanarchist.com. This is my website, whatever. When you click on to whatever it is, this is going to take us to Beauty Educators. This is Kajabi now. So this jumped over to Kajabi. So if you already have your website and then you connect it, when people click on the class, it's going to jump over to pretty-co is what I'm assuming you'll use. If you have 2 classes, you might want to start there just because of the price difference. I actually didn't even show you Kajabi's pricing. So they start at 140 or 150 a month, and that is 3 products. I'm telling you, Kajabi is really expensive, but it's because I think it's just for larger companies. And like we're about to hit over 15 products, and we're going to have to go into this $400 a month, which is fine because I use it for so much shit, including a podcast, which, by the way, that's a mini course. I don't know if I'm repeating myself, that I am planning on putting into Beauty Educators, because so many people keep asking me how to create a podcast, and I'm not a pro by any means, but I will show you how I do it. So you can see the pricing is much higher, but anyway, so this is in Kajabi, and so this workshop that we're in right now is Put Your Beauty Class Online. These are the workshops that are already in Beauty Educators, and you'll get all of those if you join. But if you wanted, this one is the Procreate class. You would go there. This is the landing page. So this is the sales page. We're going to talk about sales pages tomorrow as well. And these little images are ones I made in Procreate. Learn to draw. So this is where you can buy the class now. I have an option where you can do 2 payments. So it'll be $174 when you buy it, and then it'll be $174 a month later, or you can buy it all together for $297, or if you do the Beauty Educators, the price drops. So, and this is a strategy that I use because I'm hoping that y'all will be Beauty Educators and sign up with me all year, because I feel like I can teach you a lot more, and it is in smaller chunks. And I feel like I said earlier, I know our new student didn't hear this, but I feel like it was too much information all at once. So I'm hoping to get people into the 12-month so that they get these workshops piece by piece, because they do all work together. But yeah, anyway. And then I have a 6-month access because some people don't want to commit for 12 months, and that is absolutely fine. But I'm hoping to sell you on that 12-month during this 6 months. I didn't do a 3-month access because I feel like after I get enough courses up into Beauty Educators, I don't want to give away all of those courses for 3 months. I don't want to give away access to all those courses for 3 months. I feel like it's worth more than that. So 6 month is where it's at. 6 to 12 month is that, whatever. Or you can just buy it course by course, and that's another option. I say here replay will be $347, where I'm going to up the price eventually. That's actually something that I'm reconsidering now. And I want you to keep in mind, you can always reconsider and kind of change things. Obviously, like with my beauty educators that are signed up for, 6 or 12 months with me, I have a commitment to them. I won't be changing shit on them. I might be adding things, like I'm going to add the Voxer, which I think is going to add value, but like for this, I might not up the price. I might just keep the price the same, because the reason why online course creators will say that the price is going to be more if you don't buy it now is to create this like sense of urgency and scarcity so that they get you to buy it. And I'm just kind of like an anti marketing type of person. Like, I want you to buy something because you want the value out of it. I don't want to like trick you into like you're going into your fight or flight where you're like, oh shit, I have to buy it or else it's going to cost more. I want you to just buy it because you want it. Like, I don't know. I've had coaches in the past that are like, Allie, like you are fucked up. And I'm like, I know. But anyway, this is telling you over here on the side, like you get all of these different things when you fucking join the 12-month access, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, this is where it's at. I will put this link in the chat.
And then if you sign up for it, do you end up hopping on like halfway through, or how does that work?
What do you mean?
Because you've already gone through the blueprint and the Procreate, and now you're on putting it online.
Yeah, so if you sign up for it, where's my fucking Zoom? Here it is. Okay. So weird. Yeah, so here we go. If you end up signing up for the Beauty Educators, you're just going to have access to all of the classes that I've already put up in Beauty Educators. So you're going to hop in and you're just going to have access. There's that class that's in the chat, the link. So you'll have access, but because you've committed to stick with me for the 6 months or the 12 months, that's kind of that's the deal. And that actually gets me into something else that I need to write down for tomorrow, because I don't want to get into it today, but memberships and payments, because you will have failed payments when you do online workshops, especially if you give people a membership option, or if you give them an option like I have to split payments into 2. You can split payments up to 6 payments, over the course of like 6 months or 4 months or whatever. With Beauty Educators, I think we did a 4 payment option. So it was just under $3,000, but it was like 4 payments of like $775 or something like that. I don't even remember. But there were times that people's credit cards wouldn't go through, and it's like, what do you do in that instance? You just have to know that things like that will happen with online classes. Not only that, I also get this question a lot is, well, how do you know that somebody won't buy it and then share the login information with their friend and they'll split the cost? And the answer is, you don't know that. It is just the nature of the beast. You just have to accept it, and it's part of the biz. What it reminds me of is, especially in retail, we always know that there is going to be product loss and you account for it in your profits, but people are going to email you and be like, my package was lost, my tweezers don't pick up, my trays of lashes are broken, stuff like that. And it's just the cost of doing business. So you just kind of have to add it in. But I will say I have had extremely good luck. And I think if you have a good reputation of being somebody who has integrity, is providing the value that you say you're going to provide. I was saying earlier that I really love Amy Porterfield. So if you aren't familiar with her, definitely listen to her podcast. It's called Online Marketing Made Simple with Amy Porterfield. And she always says, under promise, over deliver. And that's something I try to keep in mind. It's like, I don't want to put too much on my sales pages and say like, you're going to get all of this stuff. First of all, it's overwhelming. But second of all, I want to give you more as, you know, a paying customer than what you expected, because that's all of the principles of selling your classes online are the same principles as selling your classes in person. And they're the same principles as selling your services in person. If you can over deliver, that's how you get word of mouth, and word of mouth is king. It still is the king for marketing. And yeah, again, marketing yourself and getting your shit out there. I'm going to get into that tomorrow. And yeah. So anyway, okay, I need to like get back on course. I get off of course really easily. I was actually talking to Paul the other day, Paul that runs LashCon. And I told him about me and Wednesday's podcast, and he was like, I think it'll be so good for you to do a podcast with Wednesday because you're such a great talker, but she's going to keep you on task. And I was like, you motherfucker. But I was like, you're totally right. Okay, so I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. Oh, wait, let me make sure I'm in the right area before I pop back over. Okay, I am. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen here again. And okay, so we're in Beauty Educators Blueprint here. This is what it looks like. These are all the lessons I did for Procreate, which is just so fucking many, and there's even more. So, blah, blah, blah. This is what it looks like. But what it's going to look like from the inside, so from my side, and all of these platforms look pretty similar on the inside, but this is what it looks like from my side. So getting started in Beauty Educators Blueprint. So what I'm going to do actually here is I'm going to add content. I'm just going to add a module here, and it's going to be our pretend video, our pretend class. Mini class about building a course. And you can upload a new image or select a recent image. You'll see like what that means later. whatever. It doesn't even matter what we put here. I'm just going to put this. So I'm going to create this little module down here, and this is the pretend course. So I'm going to add content, and I'm going to add a lesson. And the lesson is the intro. Create lesson. So now I'm going to go to edit lesson. And I am going to go back to my iMovie. Actually, I should have done this before because this might actually take a while. I didn't even think about it, but I'm going to try to do it in like a lower resolution, 44 seconds. Let's see how long this might take. Pretend class. So this little thing is going to tell me how long it's going to take to export. Oh, good. It's going fast. Sometimes when you, okay, I do need to mention this. When you record on your phone, if you are in iPhone, and I'm sure it's the same on other phones, if you record in 4K, these files are so fucking big that they take forever. And they take up so much space on your computer that literally with my Procreate class, I had to create a module and completely create the whole thing. And then I had to erase the videos off of my computer to create the next one because the files were so big. I was like, damn. And they were taking so long. It was very frustrating, but that was fast. So I'm very happy about that. So I can get rid of this here. So now I'm going to put a video in, and I'm going to select a file, upload a new file on my device. And I'm going to go to my desktop, my pretend class, and we're going to upload it. It might take a minute here. Let me look at this chat. You can condense it in Handbrake to make it smaller without affecting quality. Ooh, that's good to know. In Handbrake. I didn't know about that. But when you save it on iMovie, I will show you this here, and I'm sure it's the same again on all these other editors. But when you save it, you have the option when I'm on export file to save the resolution higher or lower, the quality low all the way to best, compress faster or better quality. I lowered it quite a bit, hoping that it would go fast. Luckily it worked. So it just kind of depends. Okay, so anyway, so this is uploaded in here, which is great news, but right now this is a draft. So there's nothing there. Nobody can see it yet. Hey there, welcome to my program, and let's get started. So first on the agenda, we're going to be talking about create. So it's there, which is great. And what's cool is there's a little picture here, and it's the lesson thumbnail. And what that's going to be is this picture that shows each thing. So you can create your own little pictures on Canva. This is Build a Beauty Class Day 2. This is the picture. So you can put whatever you want there, or you can just take a screen grab of the video. So these are all screen grabs. This is just me talking to the camera. I'm just going to do a screen grab, and let's see where I look less silly. Am I smiling at all? Sometimes I like to remind myself to smile at the end when I am doing a video like that, so I can screen grab it. Like you can see I did that here because I'm learning. Or you can just do this. Doesn't matter. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to click on use current frame, and that's going to go here. So this is where you're going to put your notes, blah, blah. And then downloads, if you want to add a file, let's say you have, let's say you have a worksheet. Let's see if I have any worksheets. I'm sure I do. These are all a bunch of images. Oh my God. I guess I don't need like an actual worksheet. Let's just pretend I made a worksheet. So I'm going to add that. So this is now a download. So I'm going to change the name of it and I'm going to say, download me, or maybe I'll just say, click me. Sometimes it's best to make it just as easy as possible. All right, cool. And then there's the automations. This is where Kajabi gets really cool, but it also gets almost to the point where it's like, I don't use a lot of these little bells and whistles because it's like, you don't necessarily need to, but it could be cool. So automations are cool. Like when the lesson is completed, then I can deactivate the offer. So then I can be done. So like, that would be like, you have access to this program when you take it and then it's gone. Or you can subscribe them to an email sequence. That's when we get into building an email list and whatever. Adding a tag, this goes into email list stuff too. Or this is really cool. Send a single use coupon. So you could make a coupon that says, I'm so glad that you completed this class. And if you want more, so this is something that you would do with maybe a freebie. So I did a freebie that was called Lashing in Layers, and it was to hopefully get people to sign up for my Layer Slayer workshop. And by the way, it works. I still get people signing up for Layer Slayer workshop because I gave them a mini version of it and then they want the full thing. So what I could do is send a single use coupon and be like, thank you so much for taking my freebie, my Layer Slayer or my Lashing in Layers workshop. I hope you had a great time. If you want more, here's 20% off of the full Layer Slayer workshop online. And that'll automatically send to them. So that's where automations are fucking rad. And I need to get more into them, but I haven't yet. Okay. So I'm going to publish this and I'm going to click save. So now I'm going to update this and we're going to see what it looks like on the student's end. So I think it should be here. Oh, no. Okay. So getting started, slay the console, build a beauty class using Procreate. Where are we at? Oh, you know what? Maybe I didn't hear. Hold on. We got this. It's because I have my pretend class. I need to, it's as draft. I need to publish it. Okay, so now it's published. So do you add your course slide by slide to Kajabi or Pretty Dash? No. So, no. So what you're going to do is you're going to put all of your slides into iMovie the way that we just did. I only did one slide, just to make the video small and the file small, but you're going to put them all in there and you're going to create a longer file, but I would do it chapter by chapter or section by section. And I'll go back to Layer Slayer workshop and show you what that looks like again really quick. But let's just look at this real quick. Okay, where are we at? This little turkey. Okay, so it's got to be in here somewhere. Using Procreate. There it is. There's our pretend class. So now that's in there. So that's what it looks like. Intro. And then it says blah, blah, because that's all I put. And then we have here under downloads, click me. So when you download it, you get to download whatever worksheet you make in fucking Canva. And I've talked about this a billion times, but seriously, Canva is the absolute best. I'm just going to pull it up one more time. Caps lock here. So let's do just like, oh, I forgot to show you this. Okay, hold on. doc. This is just AI because we were talking about this earlier. If you go into a document, add magic write, 3 tips for a great website. This is AI at work. Okay, I don't know why it keeps doing it in this like really terrible font, but let's just keep it user-friendly. Your website should be easy to navigate. Make it visually appealing. Use high-quality images. Optimize for search engine. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, literally none of us have any excuse to not put out content. You don't even have to do shit anymore. That's AI, and Canva has this AI is not as good as copy.ai, but Canva has it. Okay, so going back to me getting off topic as per usual. So let's do create a design. Do they have like a slide deck? Marketing presentation. Perfect. Ew, why is it this way? Well, whatever. I'm just going to show you this because it's whatever. But they have all of these templates here. Okay. So like say, okay, this is great. This is a skincare, whatever. So I'm going to put skincare. I'm going to keep adding all of these slides. So say you don't want to pay somebody, but also you, I don't know, you want to be quick about it. I'm going to just change this color because I don't like brown. That's not in my aesthetic. I'm going to change all brown to pink. And now all these slides have been changed to pink. Perfect. This color, we're going to change to like this brighter pink, change all. This color, I'm going to change to like this lighter blue, change all. This black. This needs to be black. Yeah, we'll change all the, yeah, there we go. So now I've just changed all those slides that are like pretty generic, but they went from this to this, which is so much more branded. And what I would do is put my logo on each one of these slides. I'm just saying Canva's super cool for that. And then the other thing that I want to just throw in, and again, this is review for my beauty educators, is when you go into photos, let's go to eyelash extensions. When you have the pro, see how these say pro down here and you're paying $10 a month? You can use these photos and you can use them to sell your courses. So I'm going to put these pictures where those skincare things were. And I am just going to create a little mini training course. Boom, boom, boom. How fucking easy was that? I have a question in the chat. It says, how long did your Layer Slayer course take to create and put online? So if you're talking about just how long did it take me to create the first version, which is the, here, let's go back to all my products here. If we're looking at Layer Slayer workshop, and we're just talking about this first version here, this all took me because I was learning, like now it wouldn't take me that long at all. And I already had the slides made. I updated the slides a little bit, but I already had them made because I was teaching it in person. So to do the voiceovers and everything and upload it, I would say it took me about a week, and I worked on it for probably four-ish hours every single day for about a week. I think now it wouldn't take me nearly as
branding.
long. Here.
Why was I getting bored with it?
This is
Well,
all
What I
This is all one video that I made on iMovie, but I just put all the slides in and I did a voiceover on all of them, and I saved it as one file and put it up just like our pretend one.
came to figure out it
But
should
there's,
your
these are
your
all
team
different
sounds like
slides.
things to just what else? Have rainy language to them. So making sure that
Does
you're
that make
speaking in the
sense?
language of the audience you're looking.
So it took me a lot longer then because I was learning as I was going, and because I didn't have any instruction, and I was really just Googling a lot of shit and playing around with a lot of shit and really trying to figure it all out. But now I have created, like I said, some little freebies or mini courses, like that mini course, the Slay the Consult, where I teach you how to draw on the lashes, the one you guys have in Beauty Educators. That class took me, the thing that takes the most amount of time is exporting the file and then putting it into Kajabi and letting it upload into Kajabi. That takes the most amount of time because you're just sitting there fucking waiting. It's really annoying. But that little mini course took me 5 hours at the most, maybe 4. But it's because I know what I'm doing now and I've done it so many times. So I hope that makes sense. So that's all I have for you today. Tomorrow, we are going to get into, we're going to talk about a sales page, how I actually create my sales pages differently now. My friend Wednesday is like super smart and she's this cute little designer. And she taught me an easier way to create it in Canva to make it a lot more like I want. We're going to talk more about strategy, pricing. Tomorrow might be a lot more like Q&A. So definitely, like, if you come up with questions, please write them down and bring them tomorrow. And by strategy, I mean like marketing strategies, the size of class that you want to create. Oh, there's one other thing I did want to say about the spray tanning class. For that class, it might be smart for you to hire a videographer to come in and video you spray tanning somebody so that they can get all the angles. That's something that you can always, like, if you find a videographer, like, you can do trade, whatever, you can just invest money in it. But something like that, I would probably have a videographer in the room so that you can really show specific angles. That is a little bit more intense. So I would say that, but you're still just going to take that file and you're going to plop it into the editor and you're going to do a voiceover on that, just the exact same way. You could probably still do it on a phone too. I really think that you could.
That's my thing for spray tanning content though. Like, obviously they'll be in a bathing suit, but is that professional to post that online? Like someone that undressed? But I mean, it's spray tanning. So I don't know. That's what I'm struggling with, is how do I create the content for the actual step-by-step technique?
I mean, when people are taking a spray tanning class, I would assume that I'm going to see some naked bodies personally.
Okay. Okay.
And you can say that, like, you can put that on the sales page, like as a disclaimer, like you will see naked bodies, like I mean, if you're a spray tanner, if you want to be, I feel like if you're not a dummy, you're going to assume that you're going to see some butt cracks and under boobs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
I
Fair
mean,
enough.
I see some stuff on Instagram. Like I literally have hidden people before. I sound like such an old lady when I say this, but when they will show like just barely their hand covering a vag and they're like, look at this Brazilian. And I'm like, holy shit. But like, I think you can get away with a lot. And if you're in a tiny little string bikini, I think you can post that right on Instagram. If that goes against your branding, then maybe have them wear a little bit more or try to, but in your online course, I think it's important to be pretty explicit and just let people know.
Okay.
It wouldn't bug me. I don't like, it shouldn't bug anybody being a spray tanner, don't you think?
No, it shouldn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, I was gonna say, like, for that specifically though, you might want to invest in a videographer. I might, but I would just do it really quick. It's not something that you need to have them in there for hours. I've paid a videographer before to take a video. I did a Galentine's Day party and he like videoed part of it and he charged me like $350. But if you look at it in the sense of like, if you sell your course for $100, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. That's not what I think you should charge by any means. I'm not sure. And we can talk about pricing tomorrow too. But it's going to be worth it in the long scheme of things to pay for that because it's going to pay itself back to have a really good video.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a photographer set up already. I'm just waiting to get into my commercial space so that I'm not taking videos in my basement.
I mean, but I want to say too, like, don't let that hold you back from getting started because you can do it in your basement. And then what you could do once you get into your commercial space is do the video again and just take the new video and plop it right in where the old video used to be and re-upload it. And it would be
Right. Right. Yeah, I have photos of the step-by-step technique. And so I think what I'm going to do until I get into my space is use the iMovie to just add voiceover into each of the photos and write on them.
Yeah, that would be such a great way to just get it out there. That's like, seriously, number one advice for anybody wanting to do an online course is do it any way you can and get it out there because that's how you're going to get the feedback. And also, like, you're going to start seeing that people don't really need it to be polished. In fact, I've actually heard from a lot of people that they don't sell so I've talked to larger brand owners who have put a lot of money into online courses and they've made them beautiful, polished, very edited, expensive looking. And then they're like, well, they don't fucking sell or whatever. And I'm like, that sucks that you didn't just put it out there shitty style because my voiceover slideshow one sells all the time. And it's like, you need to just get it out there, see what people like. I've also had the feedback a lot with my classes specifically where people are like, I like the way that you teach this way, that it is laid back because I feel like I'm just hanging out with you, getting, just getting advice from you. And it's not so professional, I guess. It's not as intimidating.
Yeah.
So just get it out there, girl. Does anybody have any questions about anything today? This is kind of a long day. I always think that we might finish early and then we never fucking do. But if there's no questions for reals, if anything comes up, I'm going to get you guys info on Voxer and we'll get everything set up on that. I'll put the information in the Facebook group probably. And yeah, I think it's just an app. It's free for you. And then you can just always message me if you have something going on. Tiffany, did you have anything you wanted to say?
Oh, I didn't mean to unmute myself. I just wanted to see my face to say bye.
Hi.
Sorry, I'll unmute myself again.
This is cute. Hold on. I want to take a picture because this is like the thing that I fucking forget to do is like advertise myself. Like, yes, I do teach online courses. Okay. That's going on Instagram. My son just texted me, Mommy, you done? Because I kicked him out of the house.
I actually do have a question I just thought of. So I've been using the Pretty Dash and you can upload like slides and you can just kind of do a fill in the blank with their tutorial things. Are you suggesting not to do that?
Honestly, I don't think it matters. It's like
Okay.
what's easiest for you. That's the way that I do it. Also in the class, so when you get into your student portal on Kajabi, Steven has uploaded a video. It's like a 12-minute video of how he likes to edit on Final Cut Pro. So I would suggest going and watching that sometime tonight or whatever. It's a quick little video. Oh, Liz says her audio is not working. Same time, 11 a.m. I always forget I'm like Eastern Standard Time. I'm like, am I Pacific or Eastern? It's really weird moving across the country. But yeah, if you want to just do it like slide by slide like that, I don't think there's any one right way to create a class in person or online. I think that that's actually like kind of a rut that we've been stuck in for a long time in our industry, where people have felt like nervous to go outside of the norm of what they see people doing all the time. And that's why our classes are sucking and everybody's bored of them lately. So time to do some new shit. So I am going to, for Liz, I am going to upload this. It has to like download from Zoom, but I'm going to upload it into Kajabi. It might take a couple hours, but it will be up there so that you can catch up before tomorrow. Okay. Sorry about that. You signed up like right before, but I'm happy. Thank you for being here. Okay. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks. Love to see you. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye, guys.